What's going on, my people? It's Champion Yogi, and I'm here again to bring you more flow. As you can see, I'm clearing my space right now, but it is cold outside, and I'm just looking for a little bit of heat. And if you're looking for a little bit of heat, this is where you want to be today. What are we going to do today? We're going to do yoga. We're going to do a flow, but it's going to be based in Chaturanga. Let's get into it. All right, so today we're going to be doing a lot of chaturangas, right? I want to go through a flow that's really going to get your body warm, really going to strengthen your arms, and the best way to go through this is chaturanga. Now, I know everyone doesn't love chaturanga, and that's okay. Remember, I'm going to offer you tons of modifications for how to do your chaturanga. Remember, as you start to bend into that elbow, that bicep is already starting to get that work, okay? So you're doing it, you got it, it's there. All we got to do is get through it. Now, before we can get into any of those chaturangas and have any of that kind of fun, because there may be some arm balances that come with it, we got to warm up the body. So let's come on down to our mats and start to warm up our wrists and our shoulders and our arms. Now, down onto your mat. I like to warm up my quads a little bit by sitting back in hero's pose, but find any comfortable seat for you. We're going to get started. You can then come to a crisscross, easy pose, just like this. Make it more comfortable. I'll even face you. How about that? Bring your palms together and then interlace your fingers, okay? So allow them to interlace and let the thumbs go either way, left to right, right to left. See which one you like better, right? See which one feels more comfortable. Probably means you do that one more than the other, okay? And let's just start to roll the wrist around and give them some space here, right? We're just kind of rolling. We're just kind of giving them some rotation, using all that rotation that the wrists offer. Let's give some up and down, press back and forth between each other and just freely go into the spaces. Now, if you start to feel some pain or some struggle, maybe some tenseness here, it may be a good idea to do this a little longer than most. If you feel like you're already good, you already feel great, just get you few good movements and be into that good space. But if you feel any pains, like maybe chaturanga is not a space for you, maybe you want to see your doctor, figure out what's going on with your wrist, and then get your diet together and any medications that may help or any exercises that may help, whatever it is to work with you. If you want to work with me, reach out to me. We can work on it together. But just make sure you get a nice warm wrist to get started, okay? And we're going to come to our tabletop from that position. So you want to make sure your hips are over your knees, your shoulders are over your wrists. You want to make sure your hands are as wide as your shoulders, your knees are as wide as your hands, and your feet are as wide as your knees. And that is going to be a tabletop position. It doesn't have to be perfect. It might be a little bit over the wrist, it might be a little bit behind the knees. It doesn't have to be perfect, but try to get it as perfect as possible. When engaged into that core muscles just to find a good tabletop. We'll start with just a cat cow. Inhale, take the gaze up, lower the belly down. Exhale, chin into the chest, belly button to the spine. Getting the core ready to go. Inhale, gaze up, belly down. Exhale, chin into the chest, belly button to the spine. Good. Come back up one more time. Inhale, gaze up, belly down. Exhale, chin into the chest, belly button to the spine. And how about one more? Let's round it out to four. Inhale, gaze up. Exhale. Good. Come back to that nice flat back. Now, once we're in the nice flat back, we're going to work on the wrist a little bit. So all we're going to do is press into those palms, roll your elbows together, and then try to shift your shoulders over your fingertips a little bit and start to offer yourself a little stretch into your wrist. See how far you can go. You may not go as far as me. You may go further than me. It depends on your space. But try to keep those arms long as you shift over into these hands and just take it as far as you feel a tight stretch. And then take the hips back towards the feet a little bit. Give them some rest. Wiggle out the fingers, move them around. Inhale, bring it back forward, elbows together, press into the palms, shift the shoulders over the fingertips, keep those arms long, and then bring it all the way back to the heels. We're going to do that two more times. Bring it up, elbows in, shift forward, and then take it all the way back to the heels. Try to keep those arms pressed long. The elbows are going to want to start to bend. Try to press them straight and nice and long. Elbows in, palms down. Shift forward. Find some comfort here, engage in the core muscles, and then take it all the way back. Let's roll the wrist around and give them some stretches in other spaces. So right here at the top, we're going to take the hands here, rotate the fingertips out away from each other. Still shoulders over the wrist, right? You're still in that tabletop position. And then you're just going to start to shift from side to side, left side to right side to left side. And once the side you're shifting to, right? So when you're shifting to the left, if your wrist starts to rise up off the mat a little bit, you know you've gone as far as you can stretch. Go ahead, go ahead and start to shift back to the other side. Good. And then take it over to the other side. Just a couple times. And then let's take them back now. So palms come up and the fingertips come towards the knees. Same thing on the other side. Now you want to start to shift back, and this is where the stretch is going to be. Once you start to take the hips back towards the heels a little bit. Good. Inhale, bring it back forward. Wiggle the fingers out a little bit and then bring it back in one more time. And then wiggle those fingers out a little bit. Now let's take the fingertips towards each other. Palms down, fingertips facing each other. Stack the shoulders back over the wrist. Try to press into those palms, keep them nice and long, and then shifting from left to right. Once that palm starts to rise up, you can already start to take it back to the other side. You've gotten all the stretch that you can get out of that, and just try to keep that palm down. But as soon as it starts to rise up, you know you're just starting to take yourself towards the damaged space, and we don't want to damage. We just want to get warm. Come on out of that, bring it down. Now, let's start to add a little pressure into those hands. Let's go with a chin stand right here out of the top. Let's do it. Tabletop is where we're going to come, right? So we're going to go with a very modified chin stand. But right here in the tabletop position, we're just going to shift your weight forward just a little bit, just like you just did. Start to bend into the elbows and bring your forehead down to the mat. Once your forehead makes it down to the mat, we can start to work into that chin stand. Squeeze your elbows as tight into your side as you can right here. And then if you can't, press into those palms just a little bit, just to create a little space between your forehead and the mat. And then take your gaze forward and allow your chin to come down and hang out right here. Keep squeezing the elbows into the sides and keep some pressure into those palms with strengthening those arms. If you want a little more, tuck your toes, lift your hips. If you don't need more, keep your knees down and stay right here. Breathe for two and one. Now press to the hands again. Lift the chin off. Bring the forehead back down. Nice. Now we're going to take it to a puppy right here. Take the arms out long towards the top of the mat. Once your hands have made it to the top of the mat, your hips should still be stacked over your knees. If they're not, take them back a little bit, stack them over the knees, or take them forward a little bit, get them over the knees. And then lift it, press into the palms just a little bit. Lift your forehead and take your chin down towards the mat. Now, this may be really, really, really deep for you. And if it is, feel free to come up a little bit higher. Don't come all the way in so deep. But if you're good with it, take an exhale and sink. And let your hips rotate forward so they stay stacked over the hips and they don't start to shift forward. They stay stacked over the knees and your belly is pushing towards your thighs. Inhale, bring it all the way back up. Walk the hands back towards you. Come back to that tabletop position. Woo! Take the hips back towards the feet. Start to lift the shoulders up. Bring the hands, roll it around. Let's hop into a flow. You're going to want to come to a standing space right at the top of your mat. Like I said, this is not going to be a workout. It is definitely a yoga flow. But we're going to go through a few things a couple times to kind of put some repetition into those chaturanga. Right at the top of your mat, let your toes and heels come equally apart. Stack your weight over your heels, ankles, knees, hips. Lengthen your spine up. Bring the top of your head to the very top of your body. Inhale, reach the hands all the way up. Right here, let's just open these shoulders. So bring your right hand to your left elbow, left hand to your right elbow, and start to pull those biceps back behind the ears a little bit. Hold that good comfortable space and breathe for three, two. Exhale, release the elbows. Start to roll your belly forward. Maybe a little bend into the knees and come to your forward fold right here. Find that belly to the thigh connection. Bend the knees a little more. If it's not connected, just find that good connection. And then once you do, start to lift the hips a little higher and then see where you find that stretch. Right when you feel that stretch in your hamstrings, you have the best forward fold that you're ever going to have right here. Top of the head down towards the mat. So you're looking through your legs. Breathe for three, two, inhale. Lift the shoulders up. Spread the arms wide or just have them supported over the knees. Exhale, fold. Bring the palms down to the mat. Now let's find our space. Inhale. Right foot goes back to the back of the mat. Left foot goes back to the back of the mat. Palms down. Let's hold this plank for a second. Now let's talk about this plank while we hold it for a second. If you need a little support, you already feel like this is a lot, bring the knees down behind the hips. And now you have still a strong plank, but it's a little bit more supported, right? So have that good, comfortable space. If you like this, hold it just like this for two. One, lift the hips up. Rest the heels down. Now your heels may not touch the mat, and that's okay. Everybody's hamstrings aren't the same, and that's okay. Try not to walk your feet too far in to get them to come down. That really takes a lot of the stretch and the lengthening out of the spine when you come into that space. Try to keep them back and just bend into the knees a little bit to hold the supported space right here. Good. Now inhale, we're going to just roll the spine forward and come back to that plank. Roll your elbows together, press the palms down, and then take it all the way back to that downward facing dog. Lifting the hips, bending the knees, rotate your belly so it comes towards your thighs right here. Your head comes through your arms. Try to keep those elbows together and relax the shoulders. Whew. Let's find Chaturanga. Inhale, shift forward, find the high plank. Now for chaturanga, you're going to use those toes in the back, press your shoulders forward a little bit more, and start to bend into the elbows. Remember, chaturanga starts right here. You don't have to go any deeper than this. If this feels good, this is good. If you want to find full expression of the pose, you want to just try to lower down to that elbow height, still keeping the elbows stacked over the wrist. Again, if you need support, bring the knees down behind the hips, okay? Good. Let's take back the child's pose. Press through the palms. Shift all the way back. If you want to take the knees a little wider, take them back and untuck your toes. Ready to have some chaturangas? Ready to have some flow? We're going to go through that spinal flow a few times right here. So come back forward to the top of the mat. Find a plank. Lift the hips. And then find your down facing dog. Pedal the knees. Breathe for three, two. Inhale, spinal roll. Lift the hips up nice and high. Pull the chin into the chest. Roll the spine forward to that high plank and then lower down to that chaturanga. Good. Press through the palms. Rise back through the plank. Chin back into the chest and reach back into that downward facing dog. Whew. Roll it back forward. Heels rise up. Hips rise up. Roll the spine forward. Chaturanga. Nice. Press through the palms. Rise back to the plank. Chin back into the chest. Spinal roll all the way back to the downward facing dog. Let's go the other way this time. Rise up. Roll forward. Bring it down. Good. And then let the knees come down. If they're not already down, press the hips all the way back to that downward facing dog. Now pull your chin into your chest, press into those toes, roll the spine all the way back forward and find that chaturanga. Again, you can bring the knees down right here if you need to. Press all the way back. We're going to do that two more times. Now, if you want a little more challenge here, try not to ever let your knees touch the ground. Roll forward, high plank, chaturanga. Keep those knees floating as you press back all the way, hips towards the heels. Good. Press through the toes, roll the spine up, chin into the chest, spinal roll on the inhale. Exhale to the low plank, and then take the hips all the way back to that downward facing dog. Pedal it out, shake it out, release, reset. Beautiful. Let's find a child's pose, knees down, toes together. Sink your hips back into your heels. How we doing? We feeling good to our flow? Remember, take a second, let those wrists reset. When you have these type of things with your chaturangas and your wrists being flexed like that, that's a whole lot. And your wrists usually don't go back that far over the course of the day. So give yourself a second, let yourself recover, and then let's get back into it. Now, work on some arm balancing. We're going to work on crow. We're going to work on EPK, and then just a few more chaturangas. All right. Palms down, tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Now for your crow, you're going to step your right foot forward, right behind your right wrist, left foot forward, right behind your left wrist. Maybe have a little space, maybe not. Start to bend into the knees to get those hips to sink down into the heels a little bit. Roll your elbows together so your knees come right into your armpits. Now, maybe that's a little deep. Maybe we won't all come that far. Maybe you'll come just behind the knees. Either space, as long as it's on the back of his arm, you're in a good space. Let's shift forward, rise up onto the toes, and then chaturanga. Bend those arms a little bit. Maybe you feel the weight coming out of those toes now. Remember, shift your shoulders over your fingertips. Maybe the right foot comes up. Maybe the right foot comes down. Maybe the left foot comes up. Maybe the left foot comes down. Press into the palms. Rest back into the heels. Come back into a fold. Good. And then shift back forward. Bend back into the knees. And let's take it all the way up. Right foot maybe. Left foot maybe. Both feet maybe. Your choice. Hold here. Chaturanga those arms. Breathe for 3. Squeeze the elbows together. 2 and 1. Toes down. Heels down. Lift the hips forward. Let's get into it again. Bend the knees so the hips sink down. Shift your weight forward. Palms press down. Elbows are together. Toes start to float. Breathe for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Toes down, heels down. Lift the hips and roll the belly into the thighs. Lengthen out a little bit. One more time. Crow pose. Shift it forward. Good and hold. Breathe. Chaturanga, elbows in. 2 and 1. Toes down. Heels down. Woo! Let's bring the hands to the elbows and just rub that forward fold over the belly. Now we're going to take it to those EPKs. We're just going to start by bringing the knees to the arms. And then after that, we'll start to take it into the chaturanga. And we'll see if you want to find some float today. Palms down. Come back to your tabletop. Once we're in our tabletop position, we'll start to work with our cheetah pose. So bring the shoulders over the wrists, roll the elbows together, find that nice press, tuck your toes, lift your knees. We're going to bring the right knee towards the nose and the nose back to the knee. Blow the air out as you exhale. Inhale, extend the right leg long. Roll those elbows together. Exhale, right knee to the nose. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to the nose. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to the nose. Inhale, extend. Bring the foot down, bring the knees down. Quick child's pose and breathe for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's go back forward, shoulders over the wrist, palms press down, rise up to a plank. Exhale, knee to the nose. Inhale, left knee extends long. Exhale, left knee to the nose. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to the nose. Inhale, extend. Exhale. If your knee doesn't come to your nose, that's absolutely fine. Just pull it in as far as it comes. Rest back in. Remember, if your knee doesn't make it all the way to the nose, that means you have a lot of strength to gain. There's a lot that you can work on and do and get out of this, but you're still getting all the same strengthening and all the same work that everybody else is getting. Enjoy the journey while you're in the spaces you're in. Let's start to take the knee to the arm now. So we'll just take the knee to the back of the arm. You want to try to get it above the elbow, as high up into the armpit as you can. Palms down, tuck your toes, find that plank. Exhale, knee to the arm. Right above that elbow is going to be a good space to inhale, take it all the way back. Exhale, bring the knee to the arm. If you can get it to come up, get it to come up. Good. Again, exhale, hold, inhale, extend. Exhale, hold, inhale, extend. Take it back. Child's pose. Breathe for 5, 4, 3, 2. Come back to the plank. Exhale, left knee, left arm. Try to roll those elbows together. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to the arm. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to the arm. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to the arm. Inhale and extend. Bring it down. Hold the space. Now, to find that EPK arm balance right here, When you extend and bring that knee to the arm, you're going to shift your shoulders forward and take it to a chaturanga. That knee is going to be on the back arm. Press strong so those hips and that knee is coming down to that supportive space. And if you can, we'll float that back leg up a little bit. Let's do it alternating this time. Right side, left side. Here we go. Palms down. Find that plank. Very good. We're going to start with the right arm. So take an exhale. Bring the right knee to the right arm. Chaturanga. Good. Once you find that chaturanga, maybe you could press those hips down, float that back leg up. Good. Take it back all the way to the plank. Hold. Exhale. Left knee, left arm. Chaturanga. Now you can stay right here with the knee down. This could be the space that you're working in today, and that's fine. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to the arm. Remember, in order to float up, you got to get the weight to go forward into those fingertips. Good. Take it back. One more time. Left side. Exhale, knee to the arm. Chaturanga. And take it all the way back. Child's pose. Reset the wrist. Let them recover. Let's do it as a flow, shall we? We have chaturanga. We have our chaturanga that took us to a crow. We have our crow that took us to an EPK. We'll start with the crow. Flow through the chaturanga. And then find that EPK. Let's take it to the top of the mat. Toes, heels equally apart. Are your arms nice and rested? We're going to recover right after this. Let's get into it. Right side, left side. Inhale, reach the hands all the way up. Exhale, bend the knees, belly to the thighs, and fold. Remember, we found this fold. Bend the knees enough so the palms can come down to the mat. Once the palms come down, bend into the knees a little more so the knees come to the backs of the arms. Good. Shift your weight forward. Palms come down. Start to come into that chaturanga in your arms. Toes will float up. Hold and breathe for 3, 2. Now we're going to step the right foot back to the back of the mat, the left foot back to the back of the mat right here. If you need to, just lower the toes down right here and then walk them back to the back of the mat to find that plank. Shift the shoulders forward, squeeze the elbows in, chaturanga. Good. Inhale, flip your toes, lift your chest, roll your shoulders back to an up dog. Maybe float the knees if you want a little more. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog, rest into the heels. Inhale, right leg rises, 3-legged down dog. Exhale, knee to the arm, right knee comes to the right elbow, rolls them in, chaturanga the arms. Option to extend that leg all the way out. Float for your EPK for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Toes down, step it back, chaturanga. Good, up dog, downward facing dog. Reset, let it flow, relax the shoulders. Left leg rises, 3-legged down dog. Exhale, extend. Shift forward. Left knee, left arm. Chaturanga. Option to extend the leg. Float the back leg. Remember, try to lift the chest as well. Don't lower your head down to get your foot to come up. Try to keep that chest nice and lifted and strong through the core for 2 and 1. Bring it down. Chaturanga. Good. Inhale. And downward facing dog. Woo, child's pose. Bring the knees down, toes together, sink down, let it breathe. How your arms feeling? All right, right here, keep the elbows down, bring your hands to a prayer, and bring that prayer right to your upper back. You can pull your chin into your chest and let the top of your head come down to the mat. Exhale and relax. Exhale and relax. A few twists. So let's extend the arms long and come back forward. Bring the knees a little closer together, feet a little wider apart. We're back in that tabletop position. We're going to inhale, reach the right hand up. Nice and high. Now you can take this right hand right to the hip and just twist the shoulder up. If there's a shoulder issue, then you don't want to reach up nice and high, feel free to do that. And then exhale, take the right hand underneath the body. and lower the right shoulder down towards the mat. If your hips slide back to help you get a little deep into the twist, that's okay. But you do kind of limit the space that you can take with the twist, okay? So if you keep the hips over the knees, then you can go a little deeper into that twist. Take the top hand up towards the top of the mat. Maybe it can help you twist even more. Or you can take the top hand over your lower back and grab the inside of the opposite thigh. It'll be the right thigh you're grabbing. Twist that shoulder up. Breathe for three, two, and then take the left hand, unbind it, bring it back in front of your face, press into the palm, and then inhale, reach the right hand all the way up to the sky. Find the twist, lower the right hand down to the mat, and then slide the right hand out and away from you. Start to lower your body all the way down to the mat right here, with that right hand extending all the way up. Good. We're going to take the left foot and let it rise up. And then roll by pressing into this left hand and bring the left foot on the opposite side of the right leg. And get a nice shoulder stretch for this right arm right here. Let the left knee rise up. And if it's in your practice, you can also let the right knee rise up and get a little deeper twist. But we just want the shoulder stretch right here. Now, if it's in your practice, you can also take this left hand, reach back for that right hand, and offer yourself a shoulder stretch behind you. But it's not necessary. You're already doing great. And if this is a lot, lay yourself back closer to the left hand and take a little bit off, but still get the shoulder stretch you need. Here, bring the belly all the way back down. Bring the hand back under the shoulder. Rise back up to your tabletop. We're still pressing into the arms. Same thing's going to happen on the opposite side. So we're taking an inhale, let the left hand rise nice and high. Remember, you can bring to the hip. Exhale, left hand reaches under the body. Bring the shoulder down. Again, you can take that right hand towards the top of the mat to help you twist or over your lower back. Either way, try to get more shoulder under your body and your top shoulder to go back behind you. And twist for three, two, and one. Top hand comes right back in front of your face. You're pressing into that palm to reach the left hand up nice and high. And then exhale, lower that left hand down. Start to bring your whole body down. Left hand slides away. Right hand is right up under the shoulder. You're going to press into that right hand. Roll the right leg over and hold this stretch. Again, if it's too much, just lay a little closer to the right hand. You can lower that knee down if you want to. If it's not enough, press a little more. Take a little more stretch. Have what you like. Try to keep your palm down. And if you slide your hand down closer towards your body, it takes away the stretch. You want to be in close to that T as you can. And remember, use this hand to take a little bit off of the stretch, right? Don't change the alignment. Get the stretch where you need to have the stretch. Use the opposite hand to take a little bit off if you need to. Press a little bit more when you want a little more. Hold for three, two, and one. Roll back to your belly. Good. And now we're going to reach the hands over the head, palms down. Bring your forehead down to the mat. And you just want all your arms to be touching down onto the floor. So your palms, your forearms, your elbows, everything is kind of melted down to the floor. Untuck your toes and just let your body be long for a second. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Good. Let's bring your palms back behind you and then gently bring yourself up to a seated position, crisscross, easy pose. How your arms feel? Let's have a shoulder roll right here. Bring your hands together and just lift your shoulders up. Your ears, roll them forward, bring them down. Back behind you, lift them back up again and roll them forward again. Two more times. Inhale on the way up towards your ears. Exhale as you melt down. Good. And now it's taking the opposite way. So go back, bring them forward, inhale up, back, inhale, and back. One more time. Inhale and back. Good. Take your hands, palms together, and your heart center. Lift your shoulders nice and high. Take your chin over your right shoulder. Deep inhale through your nose. Loudly out your mouth. Slowly over your left shoulder. Inhale through the nose. Loudly out the mouth. And come all the way back to the center. Thank you for sharing your journey with me today. I leave you with light, love, and peace. Namaste. Ah, this quick little flow will definitely help out your chaturangas. It'll definitely help out your arm balances. It'll definitely help you strengthen your body. Understand that they're called arm balances and not arm strength. So just remember that when you're finding those balances, they are a balance. But remember, chaturanga is a good pose. Don't demonize it and don't hate it. Take as much or as little as you need. Bend those elbows only as much as you like. Find the depth in your chaturanga and do it the way that you like. If you want more guidance on those chaturangas, you can always reach out to me. I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, I'm here on YouTube. You can always find me, reach out to me. Let's talk about it. Let's make it work. Until then, I leave you with light. I leave you with love.